One always wants more, especially when you start on something as big as digitising the cultural resources of Europe. I think they've done a lot. They've tried to encourage member states to digitise. I think unfortunately we then hit an economic crisis in Europe, and different places reacted in different ways. They have made structural funds available which can be used for digitisation, but it's not always what different states use it for. And personally, I think that's a shame, because I think you can use those structural funds to improve the roads, but you can also use those structural funds to improve the roads of the future, which are probably digital ones, and that the access of this material digitally will give us new economies, new jobs, a real new future. So I think the Commission has tried. I think they continue to try. I don't think with the money that is available that they're going to be able to fund more digitisation programmes, but I am sure they can help us make what we have got better available, so that we improve the quality of what we have done, and that the programmes that they've now got in place are very much about how do you make that better used than it currently is. So yes, they can do more, but with the money available, I think we're probably better off at the moment concentrating on making what we have got truly reusable. 10%. 10% of the, according to the Enumerate survey, we have done 10% of the total amount that should be digitised. I have got the statistics for those somewhere, but I don't have them on the top of my head. Yeah, no, I can look them up for you. So 10% of what has been digitised, of which in Europeana, which I represent, we have got 12% of that 10%. And of that 12%, only 8% is really reusable. And by reusable, I mean that it will work on a tablet, so you can do this, so it works on a mobile phone, all of that kind of thing. That there is a direct link to the object, that it is under an open license, so you know what you can do with it. So then it is actually reusable in new apps, education apps, in tourism apps, in new ways of doing things. I mean, I think it is, where they can, I think it's good to do so, because it's making sure that this stuff is relevant for the future. So that, but fundamentally, if it's not going to be available online, then I think a lot of the younger users will struggle to find it or to make use of it. That doesn't negate the role of libraries in being spaces for work and co-creation and seeing the original object. I mean, a very personal story is I did my PhD in maps of the 16th, 17th century Arabic maps, and I needed to see the original, because I actually needed to see where they put the pinpricks in the vellum, and really how that worked out in the whole map. So I couldn't make do with a facsimile or whatever, but it would have been amazing if that stuff had been digitised, because then the place names would have been blown up. I would have been able to read them properly. I could have done much more with it. And in fact, when I first started doing this job, I found there were 8 of these Arabic maps, and I found another one because it had actually been digitised and it was sitting in Bulgaria, and I would never have known about it otherwise. So I think there are all sorts of reasons why you do it. One, because you can make use of the material in new ways. The other is that you can find stuff that you would not otherwise be able to find. I think actually also more and better use of what we have already done. So if you look at the work in Succeed, they have tried very much to make sure that the tools are available, or the different ways of digitising to make it more cost effective or better digitisation. and we're not making that yet sufficiently widely known. So I think that's the idea behind a centre of competence, that you have somewhere to go to say, okay, I've got this problem, who's done it this way in the past, can I make use of that so that I can do it in a better way or the same way, but improve on what we've got rather than continually looking for new things. So I think we can make much better use of what we have already done in order to make available in better ways what is already digitised. I think potentially they are extremely useful in terms of transfer of knowledge. Don't reinvent the wheel. Sharing the tools and the applications that have already been developed. And creating a network, yeah, of experts who can then improve on each other's work. So you build on what's there, and in fact, the whole principle of Europeana is now moving towards, we have a platform where we don't expect to show everything that's in there, but we do think that other people can make use of the tools and the data to build something that they need for their purposes, whether that is for education or for tourism or a thematic site on shoes or on food or on maps, because they have the curatorial capabilities which we don't have. So we need to make sure that the core is there and available for them to build on. So in another way, it's not a centre of competence, but it's a platform. And I think centres of competences and platforms have quite symbiotic relationships.